Hello, the Pioneer viewers. As you know, our agenda is the Russia-Ukraine war, and the war continues in full violence on the front line. Behind the front line, an intense diplomacy is taking place, and the Russian-Ukrainian war also occupies an important place in the agenda of the international politics. While European countries are closely following the war, they are also focusing on their security policies. The Russian threat has caused European countries to develop security-oriented policies, and developments in items of the war can be analyzed in many ways. And there might be points where the warring parties are superior or weak against each other. What is critical in the times of the war is to identify the enemy's weak points and the attack from that direction. And the Ukrainian army has been targeting the weak points of the Russian army ever since it launched its counter-offensives. And the Russian army has suffered and continues to suffer heavy losses in the strategic operations organized by the Ukrainian army. And the Ukrainian army, which continues its attacks without giving the Russian army the opportunity to compensate for its losses, is carefully following the developments on the front line. Russia's full-scale invasion attempt against Ukraine has been going on for a long time, and during the 2 years of the war, the Russian army has faced serious problems. One of the most important of these problems has been recruitment. Moscow has serious problems to send soldiers to the front, and the Moscow administration, which sends prisoners and from prisons and laborers to the front as a solution to the soldier problems, has started to apply a new method. Russia, which advertised mercenaries in neighboring countries, is now starting to send mercenaries to the front. And the news emerged in the past few days that Moscow's mercenaries are being recruited from the various parts of the world to Ukraine. And in addition, another development took place as a result of the Ukrainian attack. As a result of this attack by units of the Ukrainian army, an explosion occurred at the oil facility deep in Russia. Now, if you are ready, let's analyze the latest developments together. As the Pioneer, we continue to report on Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. You know that I always read your comments on our videos, so please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments with us. Let's start if you are ready, and the Pioneer reports. The news that emerged in the past days reveals that the Ukrainian army is carrying out regular offensives. As part of the strategic operations, the Ukrainian army is launching serious attacks on Russian targets. And the local governor of the region where the attack took place said that the oil refineries in Russia's Samara region were targeted in the latest Ukrainian attacks on the country's infrastructure facilities. And he said that the Ukraine hit the facilities with a drone operation, which caused a spike in energy prices. Ukrainian drones have attacked energy facilities inside Russian territory in recent months, with the most recent attacks occurring in 500 miles southeast of Moscow, much further away from Ukraine. And as a result of these attacks inside Russia, Moscow authorities are in the serious panic, and the Ukrainian drones, having overcome Russian air defense systems and security measures, are focusing on destroying designated targets. With the strong support of Ukrainian military intelligence, the Russian military is hopeless. Samara Governor Dmitry Azarov said that the other day the Ukrainian drones hit facilities belonging to the state-owned energy company Rezaneft and completely burned it down as a site. No casualties were reported as a result of the Ukrainian military strikes, but images shared by social media users showed a large fire at the Syzran refinery. Local sources said that the fire that started at the facilities engulfed a large area in the Volga River region after the attack at 6 a.m. local time. Several other drones also attacked the Novokonyumbeshevsk refinery about 120 miles further east, where a fire broke out that was extinguished after half an hour. Another source reported that the Ukraine's intelligence directorate, the GUR, carried out a drone strikes against the Pervely-Zavod oil refinery near the city of Kaluga, which is used by the Russia's military. So the Ronas oil refinery in Ryazan, one of the Russia's largest crude processing facilities, and the facilities in Nizhny, Novgorod, Leningrad, Oriol, and Rostov regions were hit in the drone strikes. An official from the Ukrainian Security Service said in a statement that the strikes were part of the series of special operations against Russian oil refineries. The Russian economy has been significantly affected as a result of the Ukrainian army's attacks, and the Russian economy, which has been subjected to the embargoes and sanctions due to the occupation, is worse affected by the increase in oil prices. The facilities targeted by the Ukrainian military account for 12% of Russia's oil processing capacity, and this situation causes the prices to rise due to the disruption. While the Ukrainian attacks continue, important news is also coming from the Russian front. The other day, the Ukrainian official accused Russia of increasing the recruitment of the foreign mercenaries to fight in the Ukrainian war. Petro Yatsenko, a spokesman for the Ukraine's Coordination Center for the Treatment of the Prisoners of the War, made remarks at the press conference, and he said that Russia is seeking more fighters from countries with poor economic conditions. Moscow has been accused of recruiting fighters from the countries such as Nepal, Cuba, India, and Somalia, and since the start of the war launched by Russian President Vladimir Putin in February 2022. Days after the start of the invasion, Russia published a report detailing how it was trying to recruit international mercenaries through the posts on social media. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu claimed that 16,000 fighters from the Middle East volunteered to serve Russia as the part of the individuals and invasion, while the paramilitary Wagner Group was known for the recruiting foreigners. And last year, the UK Ministry of Defense said that Russia was not meeting its military personnel targets and was not keeping pace with the Russian casualty rate in Ukraine. As a result, the Moscow government had started to recruit prisoners inmates. Yatsenko, whose press conference featured soldiers from the other countries captured by the Ukrainian forces on the front line, said that Russia lures mercenaries with false promises and uses them only as a cannon fodder. As he also said that under the rules of the Geneva Conventions, mercenaries do not have the right to be treated as prisoners of the war, and their participation in the war is considered a crime. Russia's troops' problems, logistical problems, and economic problematic increases, and so does the unrest in the country. And the developments expected to take place in the coming days are already escalating tensions. So what do you think about the attacks on Russian oil facilities? How do you evaluate the strategic operations of the Ukrainian army? And what role do you think the Ukrainian army had an intelligence played in the recent developments? How do you interpret the Russian army's recruitments of mercenaries? And which side do you think the Russian army's counterattacks will come from? I care about your opinion, so please share it with me.